Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, we're looking at how fallen service members were honored today as local Memorial Day events wrap up. And with the official start of fire season just 6 days away, we're taking a look at fires that have already popped up, as well as what you can do to prevent them.
And temperatures will warm up significantly for tomorrow, likely looking at our first day of 90 degrees or hotter so far this year in Medford, and some even warmer weather is on tap for later this week. I'll have the details coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
It was a powerful day of remembrance at Eagle Point National Cemetery as community members came together to honor the fallen and remember the unaccounted for. Thanks for joining us tonight for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Haley Gravitt. Damian Alvarado is taking us to the heart of the Memorial Day ceremony.
I'm here at the Eagle Point National Cemetery where hundreds gathered, including a senator, congresspeople, all to honor the fallen. The ceremony featured powerful tributes from national representatives, local veterans, and first-time attendees moved by the experience.
I've been doing this my whole life.
Everybody knows that Memorial Day is about those who lost their lives in service to this country. But I'm going to take this opportunity to shine a light on a small subset of those individuals, those specifically that remain unaccounted for.
She shared the story of Second Lieutenant Robert McKee, a Portland native and World War II pilot whose remains were identified just last year.
And on June 20th, 2024, we identified all 10 members of Little Joe's crew, including Second Lieutenant Robert McKee.
Here at Eagle Point, we honor not only those who killed in action, but all the veterans who served with honor and since passed. Their legacies live on, not only in stone, but in our hearts.
Pipers never play it for entertainment. It is reserved for solemn memorial ceremonies and burial of the dead.
And this has been a very humbling experience seeing the grave sites here.
A powerful call to remember, reflect, and act, ensuring the stories of those who served are never forgotten. Reporting in Eagle Point, I'm Damian Alvarado.
And the Bureau of Land Management is honoring Memorial Day today by looking at a historic crash site in Lake County that is the final resting place for one veteran. BLM says 25-year-old Second Lieutenant Max Clark crashed his P-38 light night plane 80 years ago during a gunnery training flight. The debris from the plane remains at its site in the high desert as a tribute and memorial to Clark. Vehicles are not allowed at the crash location, and the removal of defacing of that debris could result in an arrest or even a fine. Let's check in tonight with Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman. It's been a beautiful Memorial Day, but it's also looking like this week is going to heat up for us. Yeah, you know, they say Memorial Day weekend is kind of the unofficial start to summer, and it's really going to feel summer-like as we step through this week. Today, very pleasant seasonal weather on this Memorial Day. It's 76 degrees in Medford right now, 70 in Mount Shasta, 69 in Klamath Falls, and 57 degrees currently in Brookings, now in Gold Beach rather. Now taking a look at temperatures around the region, 61 degrees in Brookings, it's 69 in Lakeview, 72 in Montague, and 75 degrees in Grants Pass with Boatneck wrapping up today. Winds a bit breezy for many of our inland valleys. It's been pretty blustery today along the coast. Gusts up over 20 miles per hour. Take a look at tonight. Clear skies, lighter winds will drop down to 48 in Medford, 42 in Klamath Falls. Tomorrow, sunny skies, much warmer temperatures will likely hit 90 degrees. In Medford, likely getting up to around 93 for a high tomorrow for Medford and the rest of the Rogue Valley. It's going to be a bit toasty the next couple days. A little bit of a drop on Thursday, but some even hotter temperatures are on tap late in the week. And with mainly dry conditions expected, that pollen forecast, those levels looking to stay high through Thursday, very high potentially on Friday. And we'll be having more details coming up in a bit. I'll talk more about the heat that's going to build in later this week and details on where we could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm on Wednesday coming up in just a bit. And fire season is less than 1 week away in Jackson and Josephine counties, but with wind gusts and high temperatures expected this week, you are being urged to be cautious before June 1st. You're looking at a fire from this morning in the Grants Pass area, one of many other small fires that have taken place in just the past few days. An increase in small fires that can simply signify that there is more to come before fire season even starts.
This week we do have those 90-degree temperatures in the forecast, as well as windy conditions predicted for the afternoon, and that really is a recipe for fire growth. So it falls on everyone to be aware and be ready.
With June 1st, fire season's regulations are going into effect. Many are trying to do their burn debris and weeds this week. ODF is recommending that you have a charged water hose while you burn. Do not step away from the fire and make sure it is fully wet before that fire is done burning. And you're taking a look at another fire from today, this one burning along the Bear Creek Greenway in Medford. While the fire was small, it does represent a present risk for the surrounding urban areas. So to prevent that risk, Jackson County Roads and Parks will be closing all off-pavement areas of the Bear Creek Greenway. The closure will begin June 1st and be in effect until ODF declares the end of fire season. Today's fire along the Greenway has now been cleared. And June 1st also marks the deadline for Ashland residents to cut grass and weeds to less than 4 inches tall before the city can issue any fines. All lots within city limits are required to comply with the weed abatement ordinance to reduce fire risk across the community. Failure to do so can result in fines up to $500 each day that the violation exists, as well as any abatement costs. And today, Oregon Representative Cliff Benz came to our studio and sat down with Brinkley Hill to discuss college loan repayments, as the options could narrow if that reconciliation bill passes in the Senate.
The focus in the student loan space has been on trying to figure out how in the world to get people educated at the college level, while at the same time not creating another entitlement. What we're trying to do is say, no, wait, this is real money. You may be borrowing it. You will have to pay it back. And make sure that what you're doing here is going to help you pay it back. I worked on this in the Oregon legislature and realized all of a sudden that most students had no idea what they were getting into as they're busy being told, here, borrow this money. And you know, it's like free money and wink, wink, nod, nod, maybe you'll pay it back, maybe you won't. No, that's not how it's got to work. It's got to be a real investment, and one that both the country gets something back for and you as the individual get something back for. So we're a bit of a victim of our own creation. The college is raising prices because the money was there for them to take. And so somehow we have to turn that around and say, wait, stop. This money is not free money. Because we've got to have educated kids in young adults. So we've got to do a good job in that space, and it starts by being more careful in how we make these loans and how we get the money back.
And how are you planning to hold not just students accountable with these loans, but these universities? Right.
So you'll see in this bill, I'm sure you've seen it, the universities are now going to be responsible for kind of a risk-sharing arrangement, and thus when they're the facilitator of the loan, the university is going to have to ask itself, is this student going to graduate, get a job, and pay this loan back?
Is there concern there that there's going to be less access, though, to secondary education instead of shifting the responsibility to universities and holding them to lowering the cost of education?
So we absolutely want to maintain access, but the challenge in all of these situations is recognizing that we've got to do whatever we've been doing better. And that's why you see us tightening up on all of these programs.
Benz did say that if he could change one part in the big beautiful bill, he would take a closer look at those restrictions on Pell Grants. We do have the entire 35-minute conversation with Representative Benz available on our website, kdrv.com. And over in Medford, after 33 years at North Medford, a beloved teacher is retiring as her cancer battle takes a turn. NewsWatch 12's Samantha Cadero spoke with her about the students who've inspired her and the legacy she leaves behind.
It's helped save my life. When I was sick in 2016, they were the motivator to get me up and get going so I could be in my classroom so I could teach the kids.
Kirsty Christofferson teaches more than just robotics or woodshop. She's built a space where students can grow for 4 years straight and push themselves further than they imagined.
What are you going to miss the most?
Kids.
I knew you'd say that.
I laugh every day with my students. I do. I laugh every day with my students, and they give me energy.
Over the years, she's led students to state and National Skills USA wins and has been nationally recognized for her work. Christofferson is in the Skills USA Hall of Fame and was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2023.
High school definitely wouldn't be the same without her. It really did kind of pave my high school.
I love my students, and I love what I teach, but I really feel like the kids know that I'm an advocate for their learning and to hold themselves accountable.
Now, as cancer forces her to step away, Christofferson says she hopes her students carry forward what they learn.
I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? And that's, for every state champion, I have even more second and third place things. So I'm really proud of it.
She's not sure what retirement looks like just yet, but her message to every student she's ever had remains clear.
That I loved having them in my classroom, that I love that they're curious and want to learn, and that they are able to provide for themselves and their loved ones. That's what we hope for, I think, for everyone.
Reporting in Medford, I'm Samantha Cadera.
And beginning tomorrow, the Medford Airport will be conducting a 3-day emergency response training with local first responders. The simulated emergency scenarios will include fire, smoke, emergency vehicles, and an aircraft trainer. The FAA requires this training happens every 3 years. The airport says there will be no impact to regular airline or airport operations.